Hello everyone, welcome. In this video, we're going to be talking about something. This is a grade 10 math book, the new curriculum. In chapter 5, section 3, there is this section called law of cosine. In example 2, in the book, they solve it in a way I think it's false. It's not mathematically false, but the representation of the example itself is false. So it says a ship sails 8 kilometers east. Basically, in a map, east means right. And then after that, they change direction to, let's say, northeast, yeah, 6 kilometers, okay? And they say the degree, the angle that is formed between them is 45 degrees, okay? I think this is a very common misconception. People think that this 45 degree is like this. So basically, this is the false way. So they go 8 kilometers to the right, like this, okay? And then from this point, okay, they also go 6, like this. And then you may be thinking, this is the 45 that we're talking about, right? And then this is the other side that we're gonna find. Well, that's wrong because it doesn't make sense. You can solve it like the book did, but it really doesn't make sense. Now, the one that makes sense is this one. So let's say this is the starting point. You go 8 kilometers east. Okay, of course, they will not go back to the starting point and go again. So from here, this is their new direction. So this is 8 kilometers, that like distance traveled. And then using 45 degrees, so like this high, okay? They go how many more kilometers? 6, okay? So this angle that is formed, this is 45, okay? Not the one inside the triangle. And then the total distance, let me use another color. The total distance, this is the starting point. This is their goal, okay? Let's say the place they want to arrive. So if we connect them like this is in reality is the total distance, the blue part, okay? So question mark, this is what we want to find. Now, if this is 45, it's a supplementary angle with the other one. So basically, you subtract it from 180, like this, okay? Which obviously gives you 135, okay? So this angle inside is 135. Now we can relate this to the rule, this one, okay? So here, the C capital is the 35, okay? The angle C capital is the 135. You can say A is 6, B is 8, right? And this unknown part is simply the small c, so the third side length, okay? So let me erase this. We're gonna do the correct solution here, okay? So we have c squared equal to, from the rule, a squared plus b squared minus 2ab cosine of c capital, okay? So again, we don't know what c is, so we just leave it like this, c squared. A is how much? 6. So we have 6 squared, okay, plus, what is b? B, we chose it to be 8. Okay, so now we have 8 squared minus 2. Remember, when you plug in values for variables, always use brackets. So a was 6, okay, and then b was 8, like this. Cosine of 135. Okay. For the numbers, it's a very simple calculation, like this part, okay? The only thing that we need to explain is the cosine of 135. Now, you should be familiar with cosine of 45, okay? Cosine of 45 is the square root of 2 over 2, okay? Also, you should be familiar with the fact that always the values of cosine are associated with the values of x. So let's say this is the xy plane. So here you will have always a positive x in the first quadrant, right? 135, the angle 135, it belongs to the second quadrant. Okay. Here, every x is what? Negative. So basically, cosine of 45, okay, if you change it into cosine of 135, it's going to be the same thing because positive x will become negative x, okay? So cosine of 45 is a positive value. As you can see, it's positive. Cosine of 135 is the same thing because they're x, basically, x values. So it's the same thing with a negative sign. So negative square root of 2 over 2. As simple as this, okay? So now let's just plug in the values and see how much we get. Now, c squared is equal to 6 squared, 36, plus 8 squared, 64. Okay, now 2 times 6, 12. 12 times 8, 10 times 8 is 80, and then I think 94. Okay. Or let's see. Yeah, 6 times 2 is 12. 12 times 8, 8, 10 times 8, 80. 2 times 8, 16, so 96. Okay. Now, cosine of 135, we said it's negative square root of 2 over 2, like this. Okay. All right. Yeah, so now we can say c squared is equal to these two together is 100. Okay, 100. And these two minuses, remember, this is a bracket, so there's a multiplication between them. This minus change into a positive. Okay. And this 96 is going to cancel with 2. So divide 96 by 2 is simply 48. So 48 square root of 2. Okay. Now I have this number being equal to c squared. How do I find the value of c? You basically take the square root of both sides. C is equal to square root of 100 plus 48 square root of 2. Okay. Which, let's see how much do we get for this. By the way, for this one, you will need a calculator because square root of 2 is not an easy value. Okay. Let us do it, I guess. So square root of 2, okay, times 48 plus 100, take the square root again. It's approximately 12.95 and some more digits you can just ignore, kilometers. Okay, so it's approximately 13 kilometers. And that's the right answer because it makes sense. It had the total distance has to be more than like the horizontal distance and the other one. See you in the next one.